So just to kind of set the stage, guys, what we're going to cover today is we announced this real estate scholarship program that we're going to be doing. Super excited about it because I really feel like when I started in the business 20 years ago, there wasn't an opportunity like this where you can get your courses paid for, get your training paid for, and really just get on the right track to launch your career in real estate. And I know for myself, real estate has changed my life completely. It's been like one of the most impactful things in my life, not only from a financial perspective, but from a growth perspective of personal growth and being able to develop as a leader in our industry and be able just to be a part of a lot of people's journeys, throughout this process. 20 years now, we've had the honor to coach and mentor and launch the business of hundreds of agents now at this point that have, started with our organization. Some of them are still with us. Some of them have graduated and went on to do other things. Some of them have even opened up their own team like us and took a lot of the concepts and models that we've showed them to, really create something awesome. And so I'm really honored and proud to just be in that position. And if it wasn't for real estate, me taking a chance on real estate and getting involved, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And not only to talk about like how that's impacted my family, like being able to give my kids a better education, being able to get involved in seminars and personal development and all these things that real estate has allowed me to do. Real estate's a tough business, but it's extremely rewarding because it teaches you so much about yourself and so much about life. So I'm really, really excited that we get to be a part of people's journeys. We get to help them launch their business in real estate. We get to help them get their courses paid for. We get to help them have their training paid for so that we can set them up for success here in the Silicon Valley. So I'm going to talk about the real estate scholarship program a little on the second half of this. But the first part of it is we have our special guest, Blanca Medellin, who's my business partner and also is my mom, my stepmom technically, but she's my mama that's helped raise me. But I brought her on here not just because we're related, but because she truly is an awesome leader on our team. She's like part of who mentors a lot of the newer agents on our team. She's been a top producer for many, many years in our business. Probably sold a few $100 million in sales at this point in her career. She has the most 5-star reviews on our team. Our team has probably over 700 5-star reviews now online, and Blanca probably has over 100 of those that belong to her. And that's because she does such a great job with clients. So I want to talk her up so that when Blanca is speaking, you guys know, like, this is the person you need to pay attention to. Anybody can have a good year in real estate, right? But being able to do that consistently over and over for probably 20 years now. How long have you been in the game? Almost, hit 20 years.
A little over 20 years. Yeah,
a little over 20 years, being able to do that consistently year in, year out with the changes in the market and the economy, and have clients that keep coming back to her. And a big part of her business comes from referrals. That's a testament of time, And so I'm honored to talk to her. So let's jump right in it. This is the day in the life of a top real estate agent here in Silicon Valley. And I'm going to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
And what I want from Blanca is just be truthful and honest, right? You have people who are trying to get into real estate that are going to be watching this. You got people who have been in the business. And so we like to keep it real and open and transparent.
Right.
You're going to get some value out of it.
Well, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the opportunity. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be part of my son's team and also my broker, my boss. Whenever I meet clients, I say, hey, he's my boss. And they're like, what? I'm like, yes, he's my boss. I got to listen to him. But I'm honored to have learned so much as things have evolved and progressed. I got into real estate back in 2004. So things were very much different. So always a learning experience and every day growing and learning and just, expanding that knowledge that it's never ending. And you always got to feed that. So again, thank you for the opportunity. Honored to be here. Jason as well. I know I see a few familiar names on here. So thank you guys for joining us. And I hope this is going to be very informational for you and also give you an idea of what to expect. If you're not in it yet, get ready. Get ready and be excited for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I got a couple questions here that I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Number one is just what inspired you to get into real estate in the first place, right? Like,
Yeah.
give me the quick, 1 or 2 minute background of what you were doing before, how you, what inspired you to make the move into real estate.
Yeah, I'm going to try to wrap it up and keep it simple, but truthful, of course. So I graduated from high school and I had a part-time job at Bank of America because it worked around my college schedule. So there I chose to work in an area which was downtown San Jose because I wanted to be around business people, entrepreneurs, lawyers, business owners, small businesses. I just wanted to get more into the business. And that was what I was taking in school, which was business management as well. So there I went up the corporate ladder and got into finance, mortgages, a client relationship, and I started meeting a few brokers in the downtown area. And at times I would be recruited, but since I was in college, I couldn't really take that leap because it was more, working for my schedule. So my dad was one of my biggest cheerleaders. We talked about it and it was something behind my mind where I was like, hey, I would love to get into real estate. I'm born and raised in San Jose, so know a lot of the areas, had a great community connection. But it was just that fear, of not knowing and having to jump into something from going on a steady pay, income guaranteed to commission-based, because that's what it is, commission-based, and being able to save and nurture for getting ready for this. So again, my dad was my biggest cheerleader and he said, just take the leap, go for it, and believe in yourself. And that's exactly what I did. And back in the days, I joined Coldwell Banker. That was the first brokerage that I joined in real estate.
Awesome. So out of college, you got exposed to kind of the business side of things by being at the bank and stuff like that. I started at the bank too. Yeah. And part of me starting at the bank was because of you. You're like, hey, well, you're going to college, like the bank's a really good place to get started. And so that I kind of followed in your footsteps as well. Yeah. Now, when you were first getting started, right, I think what a lot of people think is if you're brand new in the business, like how do you choose the right brokerage to work with, right? What are things that you should be looking for? Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but now being this long in the business, you're able to kind of reflect, right? What do you think is important? Like, and why'd you choose Coldwell Banker at that time?
At that time, going back, there wasn't a lot of programs like there are now, where you go in. I'm proud to say we have a great training program. We have a great system in place for new agents. Back then, there wasn't that. So it was more just connecting with the broker, getting information on their sales, what they have to offer. And Coldwell Banker had a mandatory, it was a week and a half training where we were off-site, and it taught us all about the contracts, what to do, what to expect, but it was more fundamentals. It wasn't, building your marketing program or anything like that. It was more just learning the contracts, what to expect. It was a week and a half training. And that agency was the one that was offering this. So I said, okay, this is where I want to start, because there's going to be a little bit of guidance. I'm going to have to go through this program and hopefully get the basics, right, of what I'm going to need to go into real estate. Awesome.
So what I'm hearing from you is looking for a place that offers the training, right? That's what was appealed to you at that point. But it sounds like that training was more fundamental contract stuff, not necessarily how to run a business, right?
Correct.
So would you say in hindsight now, do you think that part's important? Like not only learning the fundamentals, but also learning the other side of the sales process and the marketing and all that stuff. What can you speak on that?
Definitely. I think learning the sales aspect of it is very important, because you're going to be talking to clients about sales. The biggest asset, their home, buying a home, buying one of the biggest assets, selling one of the biggest assets, and learning the sales techniques, which again, we have to offer, is very important, because that's going to help you sharpen your skills and get to that point where you need to be when you're in front of a client, what to say, what to help them out with, what to answer when you don't know that in reality.
Awesome. I like that. Looking back, do you remember your first few clients or your first client you worked with?
I do. I do
How did
remember.
how did you get that client?
Yeah. So after I finished the training program, I was back at the office and we had something called floor time. So floor time where the office would get incoming calls for our listings. So you signed up for a certain time, a period, whether it was a 2-hour window, and you had to be, and the calls would come to you. So the goal for that was to try and generate business, generate clients, get your name out there. But one thing that I did early on, and it wasn't something that was taught to me, it was more like I was excited that I got my license, I finished my training. So I started spreading the word with my family. With my family, my friends, my clients from the bank that we built great relationship and friendships. I started letting everybody know, hey, I'm in real estate. I'm working with a great company that has a great backing. And if you're interested in doing something real estate related, I'm your girl. Let me know. So my very first client was my SOI. She was my cousin. She's my cousin.
Yeah.
And she called me and said, hey, we have some money saved up. We just don't know where to start. And that's how it started from there. And to this day, the majority of my business has been referral business, referral or, repeat client business. That's how I started with my very first client. And it was quick. It was quick. I was probably one of the agents that joined Coldwell Banker at that time that had a quick closing upon joining real estate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you remember how long it took you from getting licensed to start getting your first deal going?
Yes. So I was licensed, then I went into the industry. So it took me 5 months.
About 5 months to get your first deal.
To get my first deal. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's awesome, right? What I'm hearing is like just not being a secret agent, right? We call it a secret agent sometimes. Like as soon as you get your license, you need to scream from the top of your lungs everywhere you can. And it's different now, right? Because social media and stuff. But everybody needs to know that you're in real estate, right?
And I do want to share, because I know probably a lot of the newer agents have this fear, which is that self-doubt. Like, I don't have the experience. I don't have the full knowledge. So that kind of holds you back a little bit, and it limitates you on wanting to share it. But my advice is go for it, share it, speak it out. And if you have a great team that's offering the support and the training and the backing, you will be fine. You will be fine, and just put yourself out there and express to everybody what you're doing.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think what you said is correct, right? Like some people say, okay, when I become successful, then I will start marketing myself, right? But really it's the opposite, right? I need to start from today, because by me doing that, that's what's going to make me successful a lot faster, right? And then leaning on the people that can help you, right? Like even if you didn't know anything, I guess at that point, if you didn't have a question, like who were you leaning on at that point?
That's a really good question, Enrique, because I remember when I had my cousin and we were shopping for homes, there wasn't a mentorship program. There wasn't somebody that I was assigned to. It was more the relationship that I built with agents there at the office. And I remember a fellow agent at the time, I said, hey, my cousin's looking, I'm ready to write an offer. I knew the contract from beginning to end because we studied it. I studied it. I knew the contract from beginning to end. So that part I was fine with. It was more now writing the offer, sending it, what to expect. So I partnered up with a fellow agent who helped me overlook it, shadow me, and just, teach me what to expect in that sense. And then after that, it was like hands-on. You're on your own. You got this. You already did one. You know what to expect. Take notes as much as you can. And that's exactly how it happened.
Awesome. Were you okay with like having them earn part of the commission and like compensating them for helping you?
Yes, absolutely. And the reason why is because you're taking their time, right? You're taking their time. They're busy as it is, so they're offering to help you. So I was totally okay with that. That wasn't an issue. That was perfect. I'd rather have someone overlooking it and making sure everything was fine than not knowing and possibly making a big mistake.
Absolutely. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about, in my opinion, to be successful, it's all about your habits and your rituals and your daily routine, right?
Yeah.
So what are the things, can you walk us maybe through a typical day for you as a top agent, right? What, are you in the office? Are you not in the office? What do you start? How do you start your day? You know, how much time is going into real estate versus all the other things you got going on? Walk me through that.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely having a routine is key. And I felt for me, having that routine was key because I've always been an early person. I've always been a morning person, and it was always my point to be at the office by 8:30. So having that routine ingrained and coming from a structured 9 to 5 job or 8 to 5 o'clock job continued. I didn't deviate from that structure. Keep in mind, you're going from a routine to now self-employment. So it's easy to just say, oh, I'm going to do this instead of going to work. This is your business and this is your key priority. And just having that routine ingrained and following it will help. And I kept that routine when I started. I didn't change it. I didn't deviate. Even though I was self-employed, I would still always be at the office like by 8:30. I remember I'd drop off you sometimes at high school or whatnot, and then my son too, when dropping him off, and then my next stop was the office. So I was probably always the first one at the office, and it allowed me to start my day. So a typical day to this day is very routine, but consistent. So my day starts where morning stuff. I love to meditate, and my morning is like my peaceful time. So I meditate. I do a lot of meditation in my spirituality. That kind of starts my day. On my drive to work, I try to listen to a podcast, something inspirational. You put a lot of content out, which is great. So at that time is when I'm listening to those things. Also, just feeding my brain, feeding my mind. Every day is always going to be learning and growing. To this day, always is going to be learning and growing. So for me, that's, something that I do daily. And then of course, the morning routine, once I get to the office, before that, I already reviewed my agenda for the day. What's coming up, meetings, follow-ups, clients, whatever I have going on. So always, it's always to this day, it's still client outreach. So I have a great database. I have a great clientele database, but it's still client outreach for me daily. I allocate time for that as well.
Got it. So once you kind of get yourself prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, you get to the office, you're still here in the office by like 8:30, 9 o'clock, right? Pretty much most days.
Yeah.
And then that first part of the actual working day, it's reaching out to clients, right?
It is. It's reaching out to clients, whether it's follow-ups, whether it's new clients, prospecting. And then of course, I'm also a mentor here at the office. So sometimes it's, helping out the junior agents with any issues or things that they have going on. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the morning routine for me is holy. It really is. The morning routine for me is like my strong routine. And then the afternoon is showings or things that I have going on, meetings. It's more the afternoon routine because that's when clients are usually available as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like in the AM, it's all about new business development is what we call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Working on, setting appointments, following up with clients, getting the business going.
Yeah.
Right? Trying to create opportunity. And then in the PM is when you're servicing your clients by going on the appointments, stuff like that, probably submitting offers, different things like that. Right?
Yeah. So
how important do you think it is to keep that structure like that and not kind of have it all over the place?
It's very important because if the key for me always the morning is time management and prioritizing. That's my morning. Time management and prioritizing. Consistency with client engagement is like the second half, right? These are like the two pillars that I'm following. Consistency and engaging with the client, new clientele, or outreach, follow-up, whatever it is. And then thirdly is continuing education. There's always something new to learn. I try to always get something in the day or the week, whether it be one or two things, a podcast or a training. And we have some mentors that we have followed as well. I always try to learn what's new and exciting.
Yeah.
Keep that
Excellent.
growing. Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? And even though you're probably one of the top producers on our whole team, right? You're consistently up there in the top one or two of, doing the most business, but you still act as if you're a brand new agent, right?
Yeah.
You still act as if like every day is a new day where I got to continue to go hunt and build my business.
That's
And I
true.
think that's really one of the keys to your success. Like you don't ever, it's rare that you miss a sales meeting that we have. We have our meeting every Tuesday. And it's rare that you miss our Thursday training, even though you may know a lot of the stuff already, but I'm sure you're getting like little tidbits, right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, the reason I continue to do that is because of my consistency and the discipline. It's part of my day. It's part of my business, and it's already my routine per se. So assisting to the meetings and everything going on, and I have to confess, guys, I'm not 100% social media yet. Enriquez, I'm always the example of what not to follow on social media because I need to post more and I need to put myself out there more. I may be a little more old school on that, but every time we have a meeting or we have trainings or whatnot, it allows me to continue to grow, to continue to learn. And there's always, every transaction is a learning experience. To this day, I share that with my junior agents and I let them know, you're going to learn something from every single client and from every single transaction. So it's always continuing to improve your skills.
Awesome. I love it. Let's see. One of the things I think you're amazing at, and I've highlighted you on this before, and we've had podcasts together, is on the experience, the client experience, and how you care for your clients and stuff like that. Tell me about like, what's your philosophy around that? Like when you get a new client, do you have like in your mind, like, this is how I want my client to feel? These are the things that I want my client to experience, because you have like close to 100 5-star reviews on Zillow. And you even have people now reaching out to you, finding you on Zillow because of your 5-star reviews.
Right.
But walk me through like the importance of the client experience and how you maintain and build trust and all that good stuff.
Yeah. That's a really good question. And it takes me back to when I started. Something that I learned early on was that I'm not in this business, or I'm not getting into this business to convince people to buy or sell a home. I early on just kind of accepted that. And I accepted that I'm in this business to help people buy their home, grow their assets, and learn about real estate. And I'm going to be the guy to allow them to do that. I'm going to be their asset or their tool to get them to that right roadmap. Early on, I ingrained that, or I felt that genuinely, where I'm not here to convince anybody to buy or sell. I'm the vehicle to help them come to that realization and assist them in the process, fully informed. So for me, genuinely, when I connect with the client, I met a client who, I'll give you a perfect example, was a referral from one of my past clients. And we connected on the phone. We did a quick Zoom. We went over the buyer consultation, and then we met to finally tour. And when we met, I was there at the property. I already had the lights on. The door was open. I was waiting for him to show up. And he comes up and he tells me this. And this is what you want to portray to your clients, is that trust and just knowing that you're a human being. He comes up to the door and he says, Blanca, and I say, hey, nice to meet you. And he says, I feel like I know you for so many years. And he gives me a hug. And it's just from us meeting on Zoom, going over the buyer consult, and meeting for the first time in person. It's just showing clients that you're listening. One, they can trust you, and you're being genuine. If you're being genuine, that goes 110% to the client. They feel it, and that's how the relationship starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And there's a saying, right? Like, no one's going to care about you until they know that you care about them first, right? And I think like you're an example of that. Like, and that's just who you are as a person. Like anybody who knows you, personal, business, they know like just the personality you bring, the care that you bring. They get that feeling from you of like, hey, this is someone that's just an amazing person. And I think you just continue to build on that. That's awesome. Now, I think sometimes it has to go the other way too, where maybe you have to tell a client like, hey, I don't think this is the right home for you, or I don't think you should sell your home right now. Right.
Yeah.
Like you said, like really trying to look out for them. Have you ever had to do something like that?
Oh my God, yes, many times. So at the beginning in my career, I remember always being a little cautious, like, oh, this is not the home for them, but maybe I shouldn't say nothing. Yes, you should. Just overcoming that and not overthinking it. And to this day, there's been times where we're driving into an area and they're behind me or they're in their vehicles, and I'll call them and I'll say, I'm not feeling this neighborhood. Oh, we're so glad you called us. Yes, let's skip it. So immediately, they're probably feeling the same thing. They're just not sure. Another instance, the home wasn't the energy, the feel, it's kind of what they say, when you know. When you walk into a home, that feeling, that energy, that vibe, you're going to know if that's the right home. So again, sometimes you just have to tell the client, how are you feeling about this? I don't know about how this looks, or I'm not sure if I'm liking the kitchen where it's located or this backyard area, and not being afraid to voice it and give your honest feedback and opinion. It goes a long way. They'll appreciate it. And it'll make them also think on, hey, she's looking out for our best interests. They're really in tune with what we're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the number one ways to build trust, is just when you're honest with people, right? When you tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, right?
Exactly.
Anybody can try to sell somebody something, right? And try to convince them, but you're not really, looking out for their interest at that point. You're just trying to get your commission paid or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah. And the model here for me has always been, I'm not a transactional agent. I'm in it for the long term. I'm in it to build a relationship. I'm in it for years. I don't know how much longer, but as long as you truly, genuinely enjoy what you do, are being honest and are upfront, I think clients will know and will value that from you. And it goes a long way, not being transactional and just being genuine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody out there watching, if you guys have any questions, you can either type it in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, I definitely would love to get some questions from anybody. For Blanca, I got a couple more, and then we'll wrap up with this part of the segment here.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, here's one that I think is important. The market in the last 20 years has changed so many times, right?
Yes.
We've gone through cycles, through market crashes, even within the last couple of years, right? With interest rates and all that.
And then one of the biggest things, Enrique, the pandemic.
The pandemic, yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah,
right?
We didn't know. Remember, we were on lockdown. We didn't know, and it was one of our, as a team, I think it was one of our best years.
Yeah, it was. That was actually, we turned it into one of our best years. But how have you continued to have success? Is there any advice around how do you continue to have success even when things are changing, or when things get more difficult, or or maybe it's not as easy? Because in the last couple of years, a lot of people have gotten out of the business as it's gotten harder, right? But you've still been able to stay in it. What do you think? What advice can you give around that?
Yeah, I'll just give you guys very quick a couple of things that I went through, or that I've gone through in my career. Was when I got into real estate, we had that whole bubble, because I got into real estate in about 2004. Then we had the mortgage correction. We had the mortgage correction, the crash. What did we do? How did we overcome that? We pivoted. We pivoted and learned about short sales. We learned how to communicate with the lenders and how to preserve the real estate for our clients. So again, you're not in it for the short term. You gotta pivot, adjust, learn, and get into it, and know it 100%. After that, I believe we went into that bubble crash, and then we had interest rates. When interest rates were completely low, right? When we were getting ready for that pandemic, and we were competing with 20, 30 offers on any given property and non-contingent. Again, you learn, you pivot, and you're in it. You're continuously sharpening your skills on how to be able to be the winning agent the winning offer by your network, by connecting, by attending mixers, putting yourself out there and continuing to learn what these market shifts are demanding of you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it sounds like educating yourself, right, on what's happening so that you can speak to it, and then networking, right?
Yes.
And continuing to pivot and adapt, right?
And one thing I do want to say is do not get caught up in the doom and gloom news, because you hear that a lot and it's fake news or it's unreal news. I've always been a full-time real estate agent since I became a real estate agent. So it's not as bad as it sounds. And I think if you just adapt it with a clear mind and just say, okay, well, this is something new, we'll figure it out. What about just this new change that we have with our buyer broker agency agreements and our commission now being negotiated with our clients? I've gotten many clients in contracts since then, and it's not an issue. Why is it not an issue? Learn it, practice, sharpen your script on how to relay it to your clients. And if you believe it, you're going to relay that to your clients and they're going to believe it. If you're not believing it or you're unsure, they're going to sense that. So always be 100% sure, believe it, adapt it, and apply it.
Yeah, I love that. That's excellent advice. And the only way you can be 100% sure is to do the work, is to learn, is to study it, is to attend the trainings, right? Like when things change, you got to become a student of the game, right?
Exactly. You gotta just embrace yourself in it, dive into it. And if you don't know it, ask it. And this is a really good time too, to reach out to your fellow realtor friends. Hey, how's it going where you're at? What are you learning? And it's okay just to network, share ideas and just get an idea how it's working for other people. Maybe you need to twitch your craft a little bit or figure out, switch it a little and just adjust it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I got one last question. If anybody in watching has a question, please put it in the chat. But advice to new agents right now, someone getting started in the business or thinking about getting started in the business. I know we went through a lot, so there was a lot of advice in already what you said,
Okay.
but if you had to sum it down to maybe like 2 or 3 things that you think a new agent should focus on as they get in, what would it be?
I think in today's market, new agents are at a head start, or at a big head start, because of the technology and because of everything now so easily accessible on their phones per se. My biggest recommendation is definitely pick a team that is well established, that can offer mentorship and training, and that has these systems in place and that have the backing to show you. The reason why, and go and sit in their team meetings, go and interview them and make sure that it's a fit for you. Everybody's going to have different personalities or whatnot, but it's really important that you interview and meet these teams and pick somebody who already has a system in place, a mentorship program that knows what they're doing. It's very difficult to join a company where there's nothing in place as far as mentorship or leadership per se, because you're on your own. And you also want to see what type of leads are they offering. I know our team offers leads, mentorship, training. We're very well structured. So you want to look for something that has all of that wholesomeness already in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent advice. I think because as a new agent, when you get your license, like you're getting bombarded by letters in the mail, advertisements, all these things. Join us, get more commission. I think a lot of agents make the mistake of joining what seems like the shiny objects or who's going to pay the highest commission split. Right. And you're always sacrificing, part of what you're going to get, right? Like the more you get paid, I think at some brokerages, the less they might be offering you, right? And then when you do invest part of your commission into the brokerage, hopefully you're getting all these other tools and opportunities and resources in return, right?
I feel that when you invest upfront, not only are you investing in your skills, in your learning, in your experience, but you're also having somebody assist you. And it's only for a period of time. Once you're ready to go off on your own, you're ready. You're ready, you're well trained, you're well versed, you know everything, the ins and outs. You're at a better position than if you would have joined a company that didn't have this or that offered a higher commission, but you're in square one without having all this knowledge and experience and struggling.
Yeah.
So definitely something to look into. My recommendation for new agents, really look into a team that's well established, look at their reviews, talk to some of the fellow agents that are there already, and just see their tracking. I mean, everything's pretty transparent. So, and visit, sit in their meetings, see the vibe, see what they're about.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we do now, something we started doing within the last year, is before we have an agent work with us, we make them come do a 1 week working interview where they got to come join us for a week. They don't sign up with us. They don't move their license, but I want them to show up every day. I want them to attend all our meetings, all our trainings. We're going to do one-on-ones with them. I want them to see what it's really like to be a top agent on our team.
Right.
And they get to get the full experience, right? Because when you do an interview with like a broker, in that 30-minute interview, they're just going to tell you all the good stuff, right? Like, hey, here's why you want to join us, all these things. But until you actually work there and spend some time, then you'll know what it's really like, right?
And I love that we're implementing that. I love that we have that in place, because truly you're experiencing it. You're coming to the office, you're seeing what they're about, you're hearing what transactions are going on, you're hearing what type of training. We're very transparent. We call each other out. If someone's on the phone and they go away, we'll kind of follow, because we want to be able to give you some advice or give you some tips or help you brushing up that phone skill a little bit. So I feel that now that we have been doing that, it's really beneficial to a lot of the newer agents, and that's what really attracts them to our team. Yeah.
We have like 3 or 4 agents right now who are joining. We call that Hello Week, and it's like their trial week. And so we have like 3 or 4 agents right now who are in their Hello Week, and they've been with us this whole entire week. And then by the end of this week, now they have to decide, okay, is this the right place for me? And out of the agents that join, I think all of them are going to be, making that commitment to continue the relationship with us. And so I think that's just been a really good way that we've been able to help people get clarity on what's right for them or not.
And another very important thing too is not only the training and the mentorship for the company, but also something to keep in mind, newer agents, is making sure that the company you choose to join with has a good CRM tool.
Yeah.
Because that is going to be your key to your success for your nurtures, your follow-ups, your time management, all of that good stuff that goes into your daily activities to keep you on track, basically. And if all of that is in place, the training, the mentorship, the CRM, the lead generating, we're one of the teams that has it all circled out, and it's a no-brainer. Definitely look for all those things that are key things.
Really quick, what you talked about leads, right? Some people may or may not know that we have multiple accounts. We're one of the big teams that's partnered with Zillow. Zillow hand selected our team a few years ago to be one of their preferred partners here in the South Bay. Yeah. How have the leads that we have from our partners, our partnership channels, how have those impacted your business, even now 20 years in the game, where you have a lot of referrals already, right?
Yeah. I'm very blessed to be in this business for many years, where I have a lot of referral business and a lot of repeat business. However, being partnership with Zillow has allowed me to continue to grow my database. So there's times where I'm on, or I'll take a pause depending how busy I am, because sometimes, I can't, I want to make sure I'm servicing everybody at 110%. And if I'm not delivering that, then I'll take a pause. But accessing Zillow and having those leads come in, I've picked up a few families that I've learned, multiple families that I've met, that I've helped. And again, the referral. There's one family that I could think when we first joined Zillow. From them, I've met friends, colleagues, and that has grown into 10 transactions from one family that I helped early on in Zillow when we joined Zillow. So definitely as a new agent, it's a big plus, because you're coming in with no database, no clientele, And being on Zillow or having a team that generates leads or provides leads, that it's easier for you to get your business growing and moving along.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you look the way you just spelled it out, and I remember that client, and that client continues to refer you more clients now, and they come to all of our annual events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if we did the math on, just commission wise, it's led to like hundreds of thousands of dollars in gross commission. Right?
It has. And then not to mention the friendships, right? The friendships, the relationship you build, and that allows them to feel comfortable to refer you to clients or to family or to friends and colleagues.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, Blanca, I do want to thank you just for being on here. Like there was so many gems right there. For the people who didn't make it, I'm going to get the recording out to everybody. I'll be sharing this and posting this on social media so people can watch it. But I think anybody who's trying to launch their business in real estate right now, or anybody who's even already in business but wants to grow their business to the next level and wants to have the time test of being in the business for 20 years and have consistent business coming in where they're closing 20, 30 deals plus every single year like you, they definitely have to watch this and learn from you. Now, I'm going to spend just a couple minutes right now going on over the scholarship program because I know there's some people in here that want to know more. And we'll keep it really simple, guys. That part of it is a little bit shorter. And Blanca, if you can speak to any of these things that I bring up, feel free to chime in. Let me go ahead and share my screen really quick. Let's see here. And we will show you just kind of some bullet points on the scholarship program. So let me know if you can see. Right, so that was the day in the life portion. And so this right here is going to be the scholarship portion. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. All right, can you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so really quick, guys, that what the well, this is like playing. Hold on really quick. Let me go back here. So really quick on the scholarship portion here. What's it all about, right? So there's basically what we want to do, and our goal for 2025 is we want to give out up to 100 scholarships where we sponsor people on paying for their courses to get started in real estate and to also pay for their training and get them into our training program where there's a mentorship portion to it, where they get access to leads, where they get access to accountability, business planning, and all that good stuff. So it's essentially everything you need to get your business off the ground. Now, what is the licensing process, right? The licensing process is probably the easier part of this whole thing. You got to be 18 years old at least. That's the state requirement. You take 3 courses online, and they're open book, they're online. You can do them at your own pace. And those are the courses that we'll pay for you through one of the local real estate schools that we're partnered with. Once you take those courses, the courses probably take about a month and a half, about 6 weeks to go through those because you have to let the clock run. They're like 18-hour courses each, and you have to kind of do them back to back. So if you do these in your spare time, nights and weekends, stuff like that, you'll probably get through it basically in about 6 weeks. And once those courses are complete, you get your certificate. Now you can submit your application to the state. That takes a little bit longer because you have to get in line basically, and they're processing a lot of applications. Part of that is going to be your background check where you have to get fingerprinted. They're going to check your background. As long as you don't have any criminal record or anything crazy like that, you should be okay. Once your background goes through, then they give you a state, you could take the state exam and you pick a date and you'll have to go down to one of the local testing areas. I think there's one in Oakland, there's one in Sacramento. You go get the state exam done and you got to get about a 70%, I believe. There's about 100 questions on this test and you got to get a 70%. And so it's something where it's a lot of memorization. It's a lot of terms and definitions. And part of the courses that we pay for is also going to come with the practice exams and all the study material for the state exam. And so the state exam is really the one where you got to like I know when I took it, I took a whole week off and I was at the library every single day. No one bothered me. And I was there for like 5, 6 hours and I was just taking practice exam
Yeah.
or practice exam. And then I took my test that, following week and I passed on the first try. And so if you put the time and effort into it, you can pass on the first try. Total time frame, you're probably looking at about 3 to 6 months. And the reason why there's a little bit of a variable there is because it depends on how many applications the state has and how quick they can process it. And so, the online courses, about a month and a half, 6 weeks or so, and then you immediately want to get your state exam application in and your background check in so that you can get the test date, basically. And so that's the licensing portion. And that's where we're going to be able to help you by investing into you and helping you pay for the courses and all this stuff so that you can get licensed and be able to practice real estate. Now, once that's out of the way, that's really the formality of this thing, right? You can get a license to drive, but that doesn't mean you know how to drive a car really well, right? And so that's where the post-license training comes into play, right? And that's the part where I feel like we really excel. And Blanca, maybe you could speak on this, right? Of when a new agent joins our team, they have to go through mentorship and you're one of the mentors, right? Mm-hmm. And so maybe talk quickly about your experience with the mentorship. And I know like Shri is a great example, one of our agents that you've just mentored and now graduated the mentorship. What can you speak on that?
No, the mentorship program is very important and fundamental, I would say, to helping the agents grow, to helping them navigate through questions or the unknowns of the contract, the communication with the client, and just having someone show you the ropes is basically it. Shri, he was one of my mentors and he was very eager to learn. I remember when he first joined us, I had an open house and he was out there greeting and meeting clients and learning what to expect, learning what to say next, and showing them the contract, the showing process, the open house process. So it's a full circle in the sense of when it's a lead, the pre-approval, the touring, to writing an offer, to getting them in contract, to the hurdles that come up during the process, and then to the celebration, which is handing the keys. So it's a full training experience and mentorship that you have somebody guiding you and sometimes taking over and jumping in and handling these issues. Yeah. So that now you'll know how to tackle it or know how to overcome.
Yeah, and Shri's a great example of someone who he got licensed in April of this year, right? He joined our team. He went all in, full time. Yep. He's here every day. He followed the training program. He attends all of our training meetings. He watches all the online training that we give him as well. And then he paired up with Blanca, and Blanca was his mentor. And we have a mentorship program where your first 3 transactions, you got to do them with the mentor. So Blanca was there on his first three transactions, helping him close his first 3 deals. And he learned so much from Blanca. After his 3rd deal, he's like, hey, I'm ready to now start trying this on my own, but I'll still need some assistance here and there from time to time or questions. And that's something where now we kind of transition him to going on his own. We're still here to answer questions or step in if we need to. And so far this year, Shri's probably on his 6th or 7th deal already in a span of about 6 months, which is unheard of, guys. Like the average agent in our market is probably doing 4 or 5 deals a year. Yeah. Shri in his first year in 6 months is already like on his 7th deal, several buyers that he closed, a listing that he signed, more buyers that he's working on. And he took a trip to India for 3 weeks in between that time, right?
And was writing an offer.
While he was in India, got back, right? And being in contracts. So we really we have a reputation of taking agents from brand new and building them up to become top producers. We've had many agents on our team do 8 deals their first year, 10 deals their first year, 15 deals. We even had an agent do over 30 deals his first year on our team. And just to put that in perspective for some of you guys, an average deal of about $1 million in our market generates about $25,000 worth of gross commission. So if someone's doing 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 deals in their first year, multiply that by $25,000 each deal. And then, there's a percentage that they earn off of that they split with the team in the brokerage. But you're talking a substantial amount of income possibility in your first year if you really just follow the system, follow the process, get access to the leads that we have coming in. Like it's a no-brainer if you just do the work and go into it.
And I want to share something that Shri shared with me. Was his feeling during this process was that he wasn't a solo agent. He said that, he had so many resources here at the office and with us and with the fellow agents where he did not feel as a solo agent. He was able to take a vacation, have somebody assist, or behind the scenes or on the weekend evening call and run a quick scenario or question. We're very close and we're very supportive in that sense and want to be a resource to all the new agents.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the licensing is one part. That's the formality to get your foot in the door. But what you do with your license after that and how you get trained so that you have the fundamentals, the skills, the know-how, and the opportunities coming in, that's the most crucial part of it, right? As you guys have just heard from Blanca, who's a great example of a leader and top producer on our team and in the industry. Yeah. Now, the last thing, guys, is who are we looking for, right? I put that here because this is probably important right here is who are we looking for, right? If we're going to invest, obviously a financial investment into your courses and your training and all that stuff, and we're also going to invest, all the different tools and systems and everything that we provide to help you launch your career, we want to make sure we're partnering with the right individuals, right? Like that's the really important part. Number one, and some of you guys may have seen me post some of this or saw my video, is Blanca just described what it takes to really succeed at the highest level, right? What stands in my mind is consistency, discipline, willingness to grow, being a team player, having that positive attitude and that caring attitude for your clients, doing the right thing for people, right? All of those qualities that are going to help put you in the best position to win. Like that's who we're looking for. We're looking for individuals who possess some of those qualities or who aspire to be that type of person, right? Because by you being around us and by you being in our environment, you're going to learn, you're going to grow, but only if you're open to it and only if you're willing to do the work, right? The tools and training, all that stuff is here, but you have to be willing to, meet us halfway and treat this like an opportunity that can change your life, right? I know what it's done for me. Like I said in the beginning of this webinar here, is real estate has changed my life. If I wasn't in real estate, I do not know where I would be right now in my life, right? I'm sure I would have figured something out, but it wouldn't have allowed me to get the fulfillment, on a personal level, financial benefit, and now I've changed the course of my life and my kids' life and what's to come, and stuff like that. So it's something that you got to take serious, or else it's just really not gonna work for you. Can you say anything to that, Blanca, around like who the candidate would be, or who's the type of person that should take advantage of this opportunity?
I think you hit it right on all the key points. One thing I do want to add is making sure this is your passion. You always have to enjoy what you're doing. There's nothing worse than doing something that you're not really enjoying or fully committed to, because it won't last. So lastly, I would say, just adding to everything that you pretty much summed up, is have a passion for it. Really just, make sure that this is what you really like. Of course, the money is great. So yes, a lot of people say, I'm getting it for the money, but you will also meet some wonderful people, families, and, your network's going to grow. And you need to want to have that drive and that mentality and that passion. It's a passion that comes from within, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't discriminate, guys. Like, if you have the drive, the passion, the discipline, all those different things, we can train you, right? And that's the thing, is I can't teach you how to hustle. I can't teach you how to want it, right? We can't want it more than you. And that's the when I interview agents who are considering, joining our team or getting into real estate, I tell them the same thing. Why do you want to do this? What about when it gets hard? What are you going to do? What about on the days you don't feel like coming in and making your calls or following up with your clients? Then what? Right? So those are things you got to think about, because it will be hard at times, right?
Yeah.
It will be amazing at times, and it will also be hard because you're self-employed. It's a competitive environment. You're dealing with people. You're dealing with big financial transactions. But just know that it will be difficult, but it will be worth it if you really, really put your all into it and you turn this into a career and you make this your passion, right? So just things to consider, guys, as you're thinking about if this is right for you. Now, the other thing too is if you're an agent who's already licensed and in the business, we still want to help you as well too. Like if maybe this licensing portion doesn't apply to you, that's not a problem either. We're looking to help agents take their business to the next level. We don't only work with new agents. We work with also mid-tier and experienced agents. I'm coaching an agent right now who has a team already, and he's learning from me on how to run his team at a higher level and take his production to the next level. So I work with team leaders. I work with experienced agents who want more out of the business. We work with new agents. We have a great program for new agents who want to get started in the field. We have it all, and it's not just me, guys. We have a team and backing and amazing leadership on our team as well. So last but not least, guys, what I'll close with is if this is something you're interested in, reach out. And I'm also going to just put a link where you can book a time to talk with me. Meetenrique.com. That's the link to my calendar. So if you go to that link there, you can pick a time on my calendar where we can book a one-on-one call. That would be the next step. And we'll talk a little bit more about what you're looking for and see if this is right for you. And if it is, then we can decide there if we would want to, partner and grant you the scholarship and get you going. If you just want to pick my brain too, like that's not a problem as well. So that's an open invite to just get in touch and see how we can help you out with the scholarship or anything else regarding business and real estate. Or if you want to just reply to wherever you got invited to, if you got a DM from me, if you got an email, or if someone invited you, just get in touch. You guys know how to get in touch with us, and we'll go from there. Let me see here. Any closing thoughts, Blanca, as we wrap this up here?
Oh my goodness. Closing thoughts. Follow your passion, follow your dream. Don't let fear hold you back. If this is something you're pursuing, it's doable. Align yourself with a great team. Ask tons of questions, sit in, come and visit. We're always open. We'd love to have you. Of course, what can I say about our team? But definitely just go for it. Just you put your fears aside, go for it. You'll never know unless you try.
Absolutely. And like Blanca said too, is come in and sit in our team meeting. That is one of the things. If you're like, hey, I'm interested and we have a good conversation, the next step is I would invite you into one of our team meetings. That doesn't mean you have to sign up, doesn't mean you have to partner with us or even get started yet, but you can come in and sit on one of our sales meetings and you can see like what it's like to be in our office and what our team dynamic is like, right?
Yeah. And mentally prepare. You're going to be in the hustle. You're going to have to hustle and work hard, but you can do it.
Absolutely. So that's all we got for you guys. We're coming up on time. Thank you guys for attending. Those of you guys that are watching the replay, thank you guys for watching. Get in touch with us and let's see how we can help each other grow. And Blanca, thanks so much for being an awesome leader on our team. And thanks so much for taking the time to do this.
Thank you guys. And pleasure meeting you all. Thank you for joining us.
Later, guys.